Hello students, my name is Gaurav Bansi and now let us start our discussion on the Indian economy MCQs. This is our fourth session and we have already discussed 30 MCQs on Indian economy and we are going to start from question number 31. The question reads, which of the following is or are the likely impacts of deficit financing in an economy? So, before we look at the options, very briefly, if we look at the question once again, which of the following is or are likely? This likely is very important here. Means even if there is possibility, we have to include that option. It need not be a definite outcome. Even if it is probable outcome, we will include. Okay. Now, when government engages in deficit financing, means it is running a deficit. Okay. Then there will be increase in inflation. This is almost for sure. If deficit financing is done by printing of currency, there is a various ways through which you can finance your deficit. Printing of currency is the worst way. It's the worst possible way. Because this creates maximum inflation. The other way is that you borrow. Okay, borrowing also creates some inflation. Okay, generally it is this option that we opt for. Third option, which governments would not like to opt for, is increase in taxation. So either of these you undertake, still there will always be some price rise. If you increase taxes, this directly increases the price. Okay, particularly if we are talking about indirect taxes. So, and even if it is about direct taxes, okay, then it reduces your income. Roughly, it may not exactly increase inflation, but it will still relatively increase the prices for you. Okay, and since we are anyways talking about likely impact, inflation is a very likely outcome that will happen in most of the circumstances. Increase in savings. Increase in savings do not happen, and this is not really likely. Okay, when government is borrowing money or when government is overspending, then usually what we experience is increase in consumption, but not increase in savings. Okay, so generally this is not something we are going to encounter. Its possibility is very rare, so that is something we are not going to include. Decrease in investments. See, investment can both increase or decrease. That depends where we are spending the deficit. If we are spending this deficit on the routine expenditure, then there can actually be decrease in the investments. Okay? That possibility is there. That government borrowed the money to pay the salary to government employees. And when government borrowed the money, it reduced the funds in financial market and private sector investment decreased. Okay, so there is a concept of crowding out. The government investments may lead to crowding out also, which can decrease the investment. So this very well happens a lot of times. Similarly, if we have a fiscal deficit and we are borrowing money for development expenditure, we are using that money to open more companies, open more PSUs, extend the railway network, increase our infrastructure, then there will be increase in investment. So both are quite likely. That depends in what manner we are undertaking that deficit. So this will be correct. And similarly, even if there would be increase in investment, that would also be correct because both are equally likely. Okay, it's not like increase in savings whose probability is very low. Fourth, decrease in average consumption level. Again, consumption can increase, consumption can decrease. If there is increase in inflation, consumption is going to go down. Okay. But from another perspective, if government uses this deficit to pay more salaries to people, if government uses this deficit to create more direct demand in the economy, then there can be increase in consumption as well. So again, regarding investment and consumption, we have both the possibilities. Okay. So that is the scenario. Now, some students may have a problem here that if consumption is decreasing, then savings must increase. Okay, because generally we expect that if I have 100 rupees income, I'm spending 70 rupees, then 30 I'm saving. And if consumption is falling, savings must increase. So, well, in this case, actually, our consumption has fallen because of inflation. Prices have increased, hence, we might have cut our consumption, still, savings also may fall simultaneously. So, in this case, it should be 1, 3, and 4. Okay. 1 is extremely likely, 2 is extremely unlikely, 3 and 4, there are there are 50-50 chances whether this will happen or opposite will happen. That depends upon how the deficit financing is done. So now let us move to next question. Question number 32. Which of the following statement regarding zero coupon bonds is or are correct? So what are the zero coupon bonds? Zero coupon bonds is a term we use for government bonds. Okay, government bonds are typically called zero coupon bonds. And zero coupon actually means non-interest bearing bonds which do not pay you anything over and above the face value. That is a zero coupon bond. So one thing is that bond does not give you any interest. So that is possible in very rare circumstance that, for example, we have issued a bond for World Bank for some development finance, and World Bank has given us finance against that bond without any interest. So that is possible only when somebody is giving you international aid. Otherwise, typically zero coupon bonds means that bonds will be bought at a discount value from their face value. Let us understand. Let us say government of India issues a bond. Okay. This, let us say, is a bond certificate. The bond has a face value of 50 crore rupees. Okay, this bond is worth 50 crore rupees, but it is not 50 crore rupees today. It will become 50 crore rupee on a certain date, which is the maturity date. Let us say maturity date of this bond is 31st of March 2026. And since right now we are in 2023, this bond will attain 50 crore rupees value after almost 3 years and 2 months. And hence, today, anybody who is going to purchase this bond will not pay 50 crore for it because its current value is not 50 crore. So they will buy this bond at a discount. Means they will be ready to pay something like 35 crore, or they will be ready to pay something like 38 crore for this bond. So this bond will be sold for something like 35 to 38 crore depending upon the auction. Government bonds anyways are sold through auction by RBI to the banks. So it is in this mechanism that bonds work. There is a face value. Face value is fixed. Face value always remains the same. A 50 crore rupee bond is issued. It is always a 50 crore rupees bond. But its value of 50 crore is not its current value. That value is a future value. Its current value is a value which is the current trading price or offer price, which is a discounted value from the face value. So both options are correct. Zero coupon bond are non-interest bearing. Technically, there is no interest. This bond has a face value of 50 crore and it will give you 50 crore. But indirectly, it will give you interest equivalent to the discount you are getting. Basically, let us say if you buy this bond for 38 crore, okay, or 40 crore, let us say. If I'm buying this bond for 40 crore rupees, then I'm going to get return of 10 crore rupees almost for 3 years, 2 months. Okay. So that would give me roughly 3.5% or per year return on 40 crore rupees. So roughly that's what we can say. Okay, not 3%, sorry, rather it would be 7%. Okay, 7% on 40 crore rupees, what I'm going to get as a return over here. So indirectly 10 crore rupees is what I'm going to earn as a interest on the principal of 40 crore in the 3 year 2 months. So technically there is no interest on the face value, but indirectly the discount is equivalent to the face value. So it is in this mechanism government bonds are traded. Answer would be, since it is asking for correct, answer would be 1. Okay, both the options are correct. 33. Consider the following statement regarding deposit insurance. So unlike the previous two questions, there is very less discussion here. It is quite straightforward. The first statement, it is a protection cover against losses accruing to the bank deposit. If the bank fails financially, this is exactly the definition of deposit insurance. I have deposited my money in bank account, and if the bank shut down tomorrow, who will guarantee my money? For which we have deposit insurance facility. Up to 5 lakh rupees are guaranteed by RBI. Sorry. Okay. Second, Deposit Insurance and Credit Guarantee Corporation DICGC under Ministry of Finance deals with the deposit covers in India. This is wrong. This is direct factual question. This DICGC is a 100% own entity of RBI. It is not under Ministry of Finance. It is under RBI. Third, government and interbank deposit are not covered under the ambit of deposit insurance. This is true. Okay, it is for general public. This facility is for general public. Fourth, the insured limit of the account holder has been capped at 5 lakh rupees. This I've already mentioned when I was talking about the first. So answer for this is also 1, 3 and 4. So B is the answer for the 33. Question number 34. Which of the following statement regarding Swachh Bharat Mission Urban 2.0 are correct? It aims to achieve ODF plus status, open defecation free plus status for all statutory towns in India. Okay, this is correct. It is for urban, and in this we are covering the towns. Statutory towns, registered towns, okay, listed towns. It will be implemented, okay, like we always define some legal status for a term. For example, when we define resident, we say usual resident, because there are also some non-residents living in other countries. So to rule out that possibility, we use casual residents. So to all non-statutory towns. Now, there might be certain towns which are not yet recognized as towns. We still recognize them as village. So it is still for statutory towns. Second, it will be implemented by the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. So this is also correct. Okay. Since the question is asking which of the above is incorrect, we have to choose none of the above, since both are correct. Question number 35. What is the hand of trust that economic survey recently talked about? So hand of trust is a concept that previous year economic survey and previous to previous year economic survey, both of these talked about. So hand of trust is basically the government. Okay, in this case the answer is D, since we have to directly choose, which is moral support of state for transparency in market. So invisible hand is a very popular concept in economics, that markets have an invisible hand There is nobody who is operating. Yet markets typically have equilibrium. Markets conduct the trade without anybody operating it. So it's almost like that there is some pattern is randomness. Okay. Like a lot of physicists now recognize that numbers are not random. Even if what we consider as random also has a pattern to it. Likewise, even the randomness can lead you to some results. Okay? So while the markets work completely independently, okay, people do not discuss each other, yet markets are able to arrive at a price. So they call it invisible hand. But over here, we are not asking for that. We are asking for hand of trust. It is neither the governing hand of the state. Governing hand of the state is basically the planning and facilitation. It is neither the people, it is the moral support. The state which backs up the market and creates a system so that people can trust the market. And in case market fail, government is there to support the people, and government creates the transparency in the system. For example, in stock market, the SEBI is responsible for the protection of small investors. SEBI provides that hand of trust. Okay, if SEBI will not be there, then big investor like Harshad Mehta, Ketan Parekh will eat up the common, simple people. So we need some hand of trust also. 36. Okay, this is a different kind of equation. This is a fill in the blank. This talks about entrepreneurial intensity. Okay, so entrepreneurial intensity is significantly higher for developed economies, while it is also growing across all countries except a South American country, which has seen a significant decline. What is entrepreneurial intensity? How many people are engaged in entrepreneurial activities, or how many people are aspiring to do so? Okay. Now, in the developed countries or the developed world, entrepreneurial intensity is high because a lot of people want to become rich, they want to do something, they trust the system and they want to achieve something out of it. They believe they have a realistic chance. Okay. They believe even if they do not have money, the system still gives them enough level playing opportunity or level playing field that they can still become rich as a entrepreneur. So world over, the entrepreneurial intensity is growing, but recently we have seen one South American country has seen a significant decline. I think it is very easy to choose out Venezuela over here. Okay, but it is not the answer actually. Venezuela never really had much of entrepreneurial intensity because it is a leftist country for a very, very long time. Okay? Now we are talking about almost like 20 years, 1720. I think Hugo Chavez, he was selected somewhere around 2005. So maybe about 17 years. Okay? So since then, Venezuela has been on the streak of leftism. Even before that, it was quite left of the center. So Venezuela is not the country where there is decline despite all the crisis because they started from such a low base that even in a very low level still they are observing increase. It is Brazil which is going through a series of political crises over where we are observing a significant decline of all kind of activities. So Brazil unfortunately from BRICS is a non-performer for a significant period. And same is the case of South Africa. South Africa is also a non-performer for quite some time, and unfortunately, even Russia has brought itself into a position where its performance is also going down. So unfortunately, in BRICS, you can say China is temporarily in problems, while Russia, Brazil, South Africa are in for a long haul. It will take a lot of time before which they can recover. China might recover very soon because their problem is immediately their problems are because of COVID, from which they will definitely recover like India did previously. So answer in this case is Brazil. I really wanted to discuss this case of Brazil with you. That's why I opted for this question because I wanted to cover up some of the significant international developments. Question number 37 about the trends in the Indian food grain market. Okay. Option number 1. The production pattern of cereals is synchronized with the demand pattern. This is wrong. The production pattern of cereals is not at all related to the demand. The supply is increasing at a much faster rate compared to the demand. Demand is not growing that fast. Supply is growing fast. Second, the government is the single largest buyer of rice and wheat in a domestic grain market. That is correct. That is correct. It is because of PDS system that government purchases a lot. Then we have Food Corporation of India is a non-statutory organization, which is incorrect. Food Corporation of India, FCI, is a statutory organization. Okay, I think this you should have known at least. The first option was bit challenging, but C was largely given. Answer in this case is we are asking for incorrect is D, 1 and 38. The economic survey used the term deadweight loss, income that is lost forever, to highlight which issue in the Indian economy. So if you've read the economic survey, you can immediately identify. In this case, let me highlight it. We are talking about the excessive government intervention in the market, which creates a deadweight loss. Okay. And what economic survey refers as deadweight loss is something like this. Let us say this is demand curve and this is supply curve. If market is allowed to work freely, then this will be price, this will be quantity. But let us say government comes into the picture and sets minimum price. This is minimum, let us say, price. Let us say government set MSP for wheat. Now at this price, the supply has increased. Originally supply was this. Supply has increased while because price is higher, demand has decreased. So at this point, there is oversupply in the economy, and this will create a loss for the supplier unless government itself is going to purchase everything, and that creates a deadweight loss on the society. Similarly, let us talk about the other case. Let us say this is demand, this is supply, this is price, this is quantity. Okay. Now it is other way around. Government sets a maximum price which is lower than the market price. Government says prices cannot be more than this. Okay, let us say for food, government announces this. Now, when prices are lower, supply will go down. Okay, because at lower price, people will not be very eager to supply, but demand will be very high. Okay, now again, there is a bigger problem because more people are creating demand and product is not available in the economy. Again, there will be loss of efficiency, significant loss of output and efficiency. These are the losses of deadweight loss. Okay, this is a very rough idea of what is deadweight loss. So government intervention should be very limited and it should not be very strict and absolute. So this is what the option is. Question number 39. Consider the following statement on the basis of the analysis of debt waivers given by the state or centers to farmers. According to the economic survey, farmers who avail full waiver, farmers who avail full waiver consume, sorry, invest more but are less productive after the waiver when compared to the partial beneficiaries. Okay, this is a very long statement. Okay, we have to analyze the impact of the debt waiver, and in that context, the first statement is farmers who avail full waiver. okay, invest more but are less productive after the waiver when compared to the partial beneficiaries. So in this case, the actual observation is opposite. The observation is that farmer with full waiver, okay, they consume less, save less, and invest also less, and they are also less productive. Basically, they are not better off; they are rather worse off. Okay, farmer who avail full waiver. Who is going to avail the full waiver? Person who was dishonest right from the beginning. Who is going to call for a full waiver? Person who is dishonest, who didn't wanted to pay anything. So they didn't pay right from the beginning, and they were waiting for political class to announce a waiver, and they rather have had started some sort of agitation or a movement and forcing government to announce a waiver. Such people have not been paying right from the beginning, and such people we have seen neither do they consume more, nor do they save more, or neither do they invest more. Okay, and they are even less productive because they were not interested in production. They have now gone into the category of frauds in many cases. And farmer who receive partial beneficiary, basically these are the farmers who paid their loans for some time and some portion of their loan is waived off. Means we supported their economic activity. They are very different. So it is all in comparison. I'm not saying as in that farmer who all of the farmer who avail full waiver are complete frauds, but proportion of frauds is more there. That's what I tried to say. Okay. So first statement is incorrect. Second statement, debt waivers increase the formal credit flow to the farmers. No, it is opposite. After debt waivers, the farmers' CIBIL score or their credit rating decreases significantly, and then banks do not give them loan for a considerable period until their credit score improves. Hence, the debt waivers do not work because they are counterproductive. They decrease the credit flow. So not only, I mean, you are declared as a beneficiary of debt waiver and default roughly, I mean, almost you are in the category of defaulters, but you are also, just a minute, please, but you are also not getting further credit. So in that sense, you are not going to benefit at all. Answer should be D. So this was one of the most tricky question in this test. Question number 40. Which of the following statement is or are correct about the Dutch disease in economics? So the Dutch disease is about the Netherlands. Okay, Netherlands, which is also known as Holland, and also known as the people of Netherlands, or also known as Dutch people. Their language is Dutch. So those people, they experience something. Okay, they found a lot of mining resources in Netherlands, and the copper mining, it was either copper or aluminum. Okay, so that mining started at a significant rate. A lot of foreign investors, they invested money into Netherlands market. Try to understand forex inflow. Okay, lot of foreign investment, foreign direct investment. Now, since money is coming, the currency appreciated. So the Dutch currency appreciated a lot. And we know when the currency appreciate, when your currency value goes up, then exports, they decrease because it becomes more expensive for other countries to purchase from Netherlands. Let us say somebody in India is making bicycle at a cost of 3600 rupees. Okay? This is the price at which they are selling the bicycle. So even if they have to export, For them, you can give them $3,600 and you can convert it into dollars and you can sell it outside. The cycle seller simply is concerned with the sale. So let us say exchange rate in India is 60 rupees against dollar. When exchange rate is 60 rupees, this bicycle to a foreigner is going to cost $60 only. Okay. If the value of this bicycle in dollar terms is $60, if the exchange rate is 60 rupees per dollar. But if the currency appreciates, let us say the currency appreciates to 50 rupees per dollar, the rupee value improves and now the rupee is better off against dollar. Now $1 is 50 rupees. At this price, at this exchange rate, the price will be $72 for the foreigners. Okay, consider an American who is buying this bicycle. In India, the price is 3,600. If dollar exchange rate is 60, then the cost is also $60. When dollar exchange rate is 50 rupees, then this bicycle will cost them $72. So your currency appreciates, your exports become more expensive and your exports decline over time. This is what Netherlands experienced. So they had a lot of foreign direct investment, but as a result, their exports declined very significantly. And that is known as the Dutch disease. That one good news unfortunately led to another big bad news. So it is a phenomena wherein countries that are rich in natural resources witness uneven growth across sector. So primary sector had growth, but their export or trade declined. It can affect the exchange rate of the currency of the resource rich. Sorry. It can affect the exchange rate of the currency of resource rich country. This is also correct. Third, the coal mine sector in India suffered from this disease from 1993 to 2011. Actually, since A and B are correct, option is only D after this. Okay, C we do not even have to look at. Okay? So, because it is not a question where we have to choose from 1, 2, 3, 4. So since in this case A, B are correct, already the possible answer is D. And anyway, C is also correct. So answer is D, all of the above. So this is all regarding the Dutch disease. I hope this discussion has been helpful and you are able to understand. You can look at this QR code and this will help you to attempt the test.